1-844-500-4242. Joining us on the line now is Ann Coulter. Thanks very much for being with us, Ann. I appreciate it, and thanks for being on the debut show of Kurt Schilling's new radio program on Saturday. I appreciate that, and he does too.
Oh, that's an honor. He's really good.
Yeah, he's a really good guy, and and he was right all over the deplorables comment. And now we have so much even more to talk about than the deplorables.
I know. It's never ending.
One of my listeners,
I have some stories I need to launch, but I'm holding them off. There's too much going on.
I know, Ann. One of our listeners in the first hour of the show today said she wanted me to tell you she's got an idea for a new, maybe it's a new T-shirt or maybe it's a new title for your book, E de pluribus unum.
I like it. I like it. You know what I like about that? I don't like it. It's awful, but it really proves the point I make throughout in Trump We Trust, that this isn't Republicans versus Democrats anymore. It is the elites, by which I mean mediocrities who have a lot of power, and the people, and the fact that everything Hillary says is scripted, but you could see she was reading a scripted line. This had been pre-planned, written for her, thought about it. She knew she was on camera when she was saying it, and the audience laughed and applauded. The gaffes that it's compared to were always taken by cell phone cameras, whether it was the clinging to guns and God or Mitt Romney's 47%. Those were, just unscripted remarks thrown out there. Somebody captures it on a cell phone video. This was she knew she was on camera. It shows how completely out of touch she is with normal people.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that even bitter clingers. It was an offhanded remark. It wasn't full of vitriol. This was she was practically spewing the words out. She was so angry about it.
And it is what the mediocre elites think of basically half their fellow citizens. It ties right in what a few days earlier Goldman Sachs directs all of its employees, you may not give to the Trump campaign. I don't even think that, I've never heard of anything like that. It's not as if Trump is, some flake third-party candidate.
He's not Lyndon LaRouche. He's not Lyndon LaRouche. Yeah. Let's put it that way.
Which would be kind of weird enough since we're in a democracy. He is the nominee of one of the two major parties in this country and just got more votes than any Republican in history. And Goldman Sachs, beloved, salt of the earth, Goldman Sachs directs their employees as if, there's a big risk of that they can't donate to Donald Trump.
Let me play a couple of these cuts. We were playing some before the break, and this speech in Baltimore today, I don't know if you saw it, he was really on top of his game. And he's talking about the fact that, she does lead a different life than you and me. She's Daisy Buchanan, with an attitude, and, from The Great Gatsby, they said, the very rich lead lives different from you and me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You haven't read The Great Gatsby, Ann.
No,
I forgot.
I hate it.
You hate it? You haven't read
it.
You have. There's some good.
I think it's a really badly written book, and for those of you who are still in high school, if you're assigned The Great Gatsby, say you want to read a good book instead.
But there's some good lines in there, Ann. And I was just thinking. No, that's not a good line.
Okay, go ahead and play.
Okay.
Let's get to the true genius, which is Donald Trump.
Okay, cut 11, Steve. Cut 11.
While Hillary Clinton lives a sequestered life behind gates and walls and guards, she mocks and demeans hardworking Americans who only want their own families to enjoy a fraction of the security enjoyed by our politicians.
That could be Jay Gatsby, Ann, talking about it. Daisy Buchanan. Here's cut number 15.
I'm here to represent everyone, but especially those who are struggling against injustice and unfairness. I am running so that the powerful can no longer beat up on the powerless. I'm running to take on the special interests, the big donors, and the corrupt political insiders.
Sounds like Huey Long.
He's absolutely right, and I'm glad he is pitching it like this. It's perfectly clear I go through especially the consultant class, the pollsters, even the think tanks, and some of them I loved until now, like Charles Murray, but he has blown up. In a way, the two-party system, the old two-party system, now we're back to a real two-party system, but the two-party system isn't exactly Republicans versus Democrats. So for those of you who have a hard time choking down voting for a Republican, and by the way, you shouldn't have, the Democrats are no good, but if you do, don't worry. Trump blew up that Republican Party. He has destroyed the Washington consultants of both political parties. It's the uniparty against the people, and they will stop at nothing to destroy him, as we found out with this Hillary collapsing at the 9/11 event yesterday. And I'm not joyful about that. I feel sorry for her. She looks like a sick old woman. But oh my gosh, what does that tell you about the press, Howie Carr? They have been lying and lying and lying and sneering and calling us conspiracy theorists, sexist, racist, for raising any concerns about this woman who is old, has had a concussion, a blood clot, if it keeps going on these coughing jags, and they call us conspiracy theorists. They're willing to treat her like Weekend at Bernie's, and she collapses in front of our eyes, something not captured by the press, but by an alert private citizen.
I know. And I've said this a couple times today, and if those people don't happen by with those cell phone cameras, they'd still be denying any of this happened. You know they would.
Yes. It's the same thing with the I think the biggest lie the media has told about Trump. I have a whole chapter in my book about it. Is the claim that he mocked a disabled reporter, and I won't even get into the bigger conspiracy behind that. But in that same tape, I keep tweeting this out. Please go to my Twitter feed. You cannot dispute it if you see these 5 videos posted by a group called Catholics for Trump. He does the exact same imitation of a general in the exact same speech. He does the same imitation of himself on Larry King like 10 years earlier when he's doing himself being frustrated because he doesn't want to go on vacation. He loves his work, and he's shaking his arms and his tongue is hanging out, does the same thing for a general, same thing for Ted Cruz. The media knew damn well this is how Trump does an imitation of a flustered person, and they also knew damn well that it looked nothing like the alleged disabled reporter he was mocking, who doesn't have cerebral palsy. That is a lie, and it's a despicable lie, and the media have been caught.
You're not going to believe there's a great cartoon. We just tweeted it out, and from of all places, the New Yorker magazine. They have a cartoon, and they're 2 people holding up Hillary Clinton, in the fashion of Weekend at Bernie's, and the quote under the cartoon was, "They told her to act more like Bernie, but I don't think they meant Weekend at Bernie's."
Right. It's bad.
Listen to this. This is Politico, Ann, and again, this is exactly what you're talking about here. They're trying to turn it around now on Donald Trump. By the way, they're saying now that places like Salon are saying that she is powering through. Congratulations, Hillary, on powering through your pneumonia, which we first told you was just a feigning. Which before that we told you was a seasonal allergy, but now it's pneumonia. So let's, it's Kremlin time, 1953. Let's just forget everything else we told you is a non-starter. So she's a credit to her gender, I guess, Ann, as Linda Ronstadt might say. But listen to this, Politico today. Written by one of the reporters who's in all those emails. They're feeding this guy the story, Ken Vogel. I guess they're feeding him more stories. By Sunday afternoon, the 68-year-old Clinton was already facing calls to release her full medical records, something that her 70-year-old corpulent junk food gobbling opponent, who has proudly posed with a KFC chicken bucket, has thus far refused to do. That's in a news story.
All that KFC chicken doesn't seem to be slowing him down. Man, Trump looked fantastic yesterday, despite apparently what was blistering heat. It was beautiful in New York yesterday, Howie.
Yes, it was beautiful here, yes.
Trump, not only is he wearing a full suit, you can't wear a nice, usually I complain about it because I'm always cold, but it's a lot cooler wearing a skirt and a dress than a full suit, tie, shirt. Well, they're also wearing, I assume Hillary is, I'm sure Trump better be, wearing, protective...
Right, he's wearing Kevlar.
Armor under all that.
Yeah.
And, he was fresh as a daisy.
Yeah, and they're corpulent junk food gobbling. How is that any kind of objective journalism? Especially, the story's not even about him. It's about her. You're right. He's not the one who, collapsed and had to be shoveled into a van. It's ridiculous.
Is strange. All the narratives we got yesterday, actually over the past week, from how dare you conspiracy theorists, sexist, to, oh, she just has allergies, to it was heat exhaustion, to it's pneumonia, to, oh, look at FDR had polio and he was a great president. How do you guys like Tim Kaine? I mean, it's stunning to see the media, the hysteria over there, false descriptions of what the weather was like in New York yesterday.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. You're right. I mean, they were saying it was a blistering hot day, but it wasn't.
It was good compared to recently. I mean, apparently in the very early morning it was like 79. It got up to 82, which is, a spring breeze compared to what it's been recently. The wind was blowing. It was a lovely day, and this was at 9:30, 10 in the morning.
I just thought of something, Ann. They're saying it got so hot. She's a victim of climate change.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, do we know who that child is who ran up to her? I know a million people have pointed out, hey, if you have pneumonia, why are you hugging this little girl? But I just find it strange. This goes back to the high crimes and misdemeanors days. Whenever either Bill or Hillary Clinton get in trouble, they always run to a small colored girl.
Well, I remember Kerry in his first Senate campaign when he was in a jam. He would always put his own kids up there. That's a kind of a standard operating.
Who is that little girl?
I don't. Well, Ann, what?
She's obviously some form of minority. She could be Indian or something.
What about the granddaughter, Ann? I mean, the younger granddaughter is no. But I'm just saying no. But upstairs, she went down to that apartment. Chelsea's block-long apartment. But but that kid is an infant, right? I mean, that
No. All of that is true. I am talking. Look, the Secret Service isn't letting anyone run up to Hillary. This is obviously scripted and planned, and it's always some poor minority child who has to be the photo op.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we?
Just happens to be wandering down the street. Just happens to be wandering down the street in a hipster district.
The Secret Service scrum.
Right. Let's listen to here's Andrea Mitchell. Now, Andrea Mitchell, you know who she is. She's the former Fed chairman's wife, and Hillary talked about what a wonderful person she was at her quote-unquote press conference last week. So now Andrea Mitchell is returning the wet kiss here today. Cut one.
This was so botched. This was so mishandled. The whole issue of transparency, and this only reinforces all the conspiracy theories.
So the truth has come out, but the problem is not that she was covering it up. The problem is she's been caught. She's been caught lying and covering it up.
Beautiful. It reinforces conspiracy theories. Well, no, I think it disproves that they were conspiracy theories. That's amazing.
Yeah, play that one again. That is a really good cut.
This was so botched. This was so mishandled. The whole issue of transparency, and this only reinforces all the conspiracy theories.
That's the problem. It's not that their candidate is collapsing, coughing. Well, last debate, as somebody I followed on Twitter said, by the last debate, it will be Hillary's brain in a jar.
Yeah, that blue dress, it just reinforces the conspiracy theories that something really happened in the Oval Office. Damn it! What is going on here? We're having too much fun, Ann. I just hope you don't catch pneumonia down there in New York.
I know.
I mean, there's a lot of it going around. Yeah, I mean, and it's so hot too. People are just keeling over in the streets. Right on Times Square, they're dropping like flies. Ann, thanks for being with us. We had a good time, and again, thanks for being on Chuck Schilling's. I'm showing my age. Kurt Schilling's show, his debut show. Thanks, Ann.
Bye-bye.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by General Communications. Do what I did, call General Communications to upgrade your office phone system with a state-of-the-art Shoretel VoIP telephone system. You could see a savings every month on your cell phone bill and get a lot more functionality. Call 1-800-4GENERAL or click on the General Communications banner at HowieCarrShow.com. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie Carr. You can trust him. He's not like the others.